Hello, Lauda. How are you doing? I know how you're doing. You don't have to go through that. Sorry. Oh, you guys pray for her animal companions, please. Well, one has already transitioned. Hopefully, Eric's taking care of her or him.
Kissmere. Kissmere
Kiss.
is my cat that, passed on Good Friday, and then now my beautiful Zephyr has renal failure. So
Yeah. All right. So y'all send him prayers
good,
and
good.
healing energy. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to talk. Oh, hi, Eric. I love you. I always have to say that. Take care, Kishmir. But anyway, we're going to talk to Hildegard of Bingen. Not to be honest, I've never heard of her, but maybe many of you have not. Hildegard of Bingen was born in 1098. She died in 1179 at the age of 81, which for back then, good Lord, also known as Saint Hildegard and the Sibyl of the Rhine. She was a German Benedictine abbess and polymath active as a polymath. What is that? I don't know. Active as a writer, composer, philosopher, mystic, visionary, and as a medical writer and practitioner during the High Middle Ages. She is one of the best known composers of sacred monophony. Never heard of that. I'm going to get an education on this one. I'm going to go to Google right after and look at this stuff, as well as the most recorded in modern history. She has been considered by scholars to be the founder of scientific natural history in Germany. Well, good Lord, no wonder people wanted us to interview her. So, Eric, can you bring her in, or maybe she's already in?
Okay, let me just connect.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Hildegard. Can I call you Hildegard, or do I call your last name of Bingham? No, I'm kidding. Uh, well, thank you for all your knowledge, and thank you for coming to agreeing to come to this interview. You've shared so much with us through the many volumes you wrote about so many topics. So here's some questions. You stated in your biography that from a very young age you experienced visions. So tell us what that's like. And like, did you get scared, or did you feel it was normal?
Very interesting what's happening right now, because she's flooding my brain with so much light
Wow.
and cosmic stuff
Mm.
that it's like vibrating. It's really like, whoa. Um, it didn't scare her.
Okay.
Um, it didn't scare her. She's had this since she was very little.
Yeah.
Um, it came with great pain.
What do you mean? Physical pain? Mental?
These visions came with great pain. Yes,
Physical?
yes.
Oh, good
Like
Lord. Oh,
like extreme ecstasy when it was coming in, like it's coming in like fire
mm.
of God,
Oh, yeah.
literally. And then so it's this immense, like she says humans can't could never understand her visions, could never understand what she was experiencing. It was so fire. She keeps saying fire.
Well, that's probably not the appropriate vocabulary to describe it.
No, but she keeps saying fire. It's like the fire of God.
Yeah, I get it.
And then
Yes, again.
the burning
Mm.
would always come with great pain after.
Where was the pain? In your brain, your head, or all over your body?
The pain was in her head,
Yeah,
but she felt it throughout her body.
yeah.
So it's almost like her veins were on fire.
Oh, good Lord.
It's
What were the visions about? Maybe name a couple, or maybe you can
um,
generalize.
she says that the visions were cosmic, like it was like she was being shown the wonder of God in creation
Mm.
in a cosmic sense. So she was able to see a lot of mysteries of God through like what looks like this cosmic woven connection.
Was it like sacred geometry, or was it like seeing galaxies and or all
It's
of the
it's
above?
it's like seeing. So she says that there's tears coming down, and some of it is all the galaxies and all the stuff above, and then there's
Mm.
these tears coming down. So she's seeing, like she's showing me visions of like in these tears, sometimes she would see all these like angelic beings, and then she would see the demonic beings
Mm.
below.
Yeah.
And but it was all like a tapestry of creation.
Wow, interesting. That sounds beautiful.
So it was like he was showing her a heightened understanding of him.
Okay.
So
I'm just kidding.
her, well, actually she says it was interesting. Like she's saying what it came through, it was like a wisdom of the feminine,
Oh,
but it's like both the father and the
well,
mother.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
So very like it it gave her understanding of how to stay in the body and to stay as sinless as you could possibly stay. Like it gave
yeah,
her an understanding of the soul in connection to the body.
yeah.
It was very cosmic, her experiences.
Oh, wow.
Very, very, very much light, like burning light. She's saying burning light.
Interesting. All right. So when you were young, could you remember, maybe through these visions too, any of your past lives and like where you were coming from?
No, she said her origin or her memory and her connection to God and the wisdom of God, the mother, is all cosmic.
Okay.
So her whole being was focused on that.
Did you have other lives? I mean, maybe you split straight off from source into your body. I don't know.
Yes, she has had other lives.
Okay, we'll
Yes.
probably talk about that. I'm sure there's a question there about the previous life.
But in her incarnation, there was there was no she said she was fully disciplined in what she lived. Like there was no memory of the past.
Oh, I
It
got
was
you.
just that. But after she died, yes, she has
Of
had
course.
past lives. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, why did you get so sick so often? I'm wondering if it was the burning light.
It's the burning light. She said she was
More than the
made,
human body could take.
yes, she said she was made for the visions,
Yeah.
but and that was a part of it. That when she would have them, she would go through these really terrible bedridden periods.
Mm.
You couldn't have one without the other.
Yeah. Well,
She said
Eric,
that was designed like for
Eric,
that.
why? Why? Well, maybe you know also, but Eric, why did she have to have these visions accompanied by such pain and illness? That's certainly not necessary. I mean, you get if light comes into your body, I'm sure healing light could enter your body too. So I don't know if it's a contract or why.
Okay. She said the pain allowed for her physical understanding of what she needed to do here. So she didn't have to have the pain, but she did have to have the pain for the kind of work that God wanted her to do.
I see.
And in that time when she was bedridden, she would be able to get downloads. She would be able to,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's almost like the physical body couldn't contain the fire.
Yeah. Sounds like
So
it.
the frequency was too high,
Yeah. Mm.
and
Well,
so the physical couldn't handle
yeah.
it.
How important was all of this for your writing? I imagine very, right?
Oh, that was the that was the basis of everything, the writing, the poetry, the music, literally it was how she was able to create everything she created.
Wow.
Hmm.
I wondered if you had to be bedridden in order to have that stillness so that the downloads were possible, or
Yeah, it was like her body was in stasis, and when she was in that place, it's almost like she's able to retrieve more information
okay.
because she's still and in that place. So the visions were one thing, and then her being basically bedridden was another way for that to continue working in her body.
Now, you believe that a person should be treated for an illness or an injury by treating the body and the soul to bring balance to the whole person, and you called it viriditas, Diriditas. I don't know if I'm watching the
It,
pronunciation, but
it
so
re-
tell us more about how we can achieve that in the present. Modern medicine only treats the symptoms of the body. So how can we improve body soul balance? And I will say body mind soul, but yeah, I'm not the expert.
she says, well, her first response is, you need to connect to God.
Mm, yeah,
So if you don't connect to God and have God live in you,
yeah.
because she says you are the spark of the fire of God. You are the spark. So if you don't recognize the soul and God in you, your body will suffer.
True.
So you need to make that connection,
Mhm.
and you need to, she says, God must become known to you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, was there any advanced technology that you were shown by spirit or in any way through your visions that that you used in medicine?
She says frequency.
Oh, it's all
Yeah.
about energy, isn't it?
She says heavenly frequencies.
It's
So she
interesting.
was able to perceive heavenly frequencies, and she was able to be a conduit in the flesh to bring those frequencies down
Yeah.
for healing.
That's interesting because we just recently had a session discussing the human electrobiome. I can't remember what it's called, but how all the cells are like little batteries, and you can the frequency if the frequency is off, then that cell can become cancerous, etc. So is that what you're talking about? Like changing the frequencies?
She
Uh,
says that the heavenly frequencies must come down here,
yeah, I got you.
because even then she says that it was difficult to get those frequencies here.
Hmm.
So even back then,
Okay. Were you treated equally by men working in the same sciences?
she said she was a rebel,
Mm.
and
Okay.
she was she says she was very stubborn and would not relent,
Yeah.
and that she was given the words to write
Mm.
to get her point. She said that she wrote with the words that were given to her by God. And when she says God, it's very feminine. It's like
Okay.
the and but she says she was absolutely a rebel, and she would not let up. And she was quite successful in being able to receive the understanding that just because she was a woman, it was like amends were made for her. That's what she says. So she could do what she
I
did.
bet. It sounds like you commanded respect
Yeah.
from that gender. Were your visions caused by migraines? Migraines, you can have all sorts of crazy stuff happen with migraines. Yeah.
Um, she says it was more than migraines. It was much more than migraines, because she's saying her veins were on fire.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
her veins in her head and in her body, because
that's
she's saying
awful.
head and body.
Mm,
She felt it in her whole body.
okay.
So it was, she says the word, I don't even know what this is. Ecstatic.
Okay.
Ecstatic. I don't know
I'll
what
look it
that is.
up. I'm gonna look it up. Y'all, if you look it up,
Ecstatic,
put it in the comments.
ecstatic pain.
No.
I hope I'm saying it right.
Explain.
I don't know what that is. Anyway, she's
All right,
saying
we'll
it
look it up later.
that.
We don't care about words though.
So
But I understand.
way more than migraines. Way
Wow.
more.
Okay. Now I didn't know this. Well, I didn't know anything about you. You made your own language. Was it channeled to you? And if so, by whom?
Yes, she says it was given to her by the heavenly realm.
Oh, what was it based on?
She said it was based on the language in frequency that she was able to receive from her visions
Oh,
and the downloads.
would you
So
call it light language? Like some people speak like light language, like angelic
yes,
speak.
it's light. Yes, it's light.
Wow, interesting. Was your knowledge of music, herbs, and a new language channeled by aliens ever from a higher dimension or from the angelic realm, or both?
She says yes. It was given to her by the heavenly realm, but also by very high beings.
Mm,
But in her incarnation, she interpreted all as the heavenly realm.
okay,
So
so not sure if it was any alien involvement then.
she says there was, but
Oh, there
in her
was. Okay, got it.
incarnation, she didn't register that. She
Oh yeah,
registered it as the heavenly realm and God.
yeah,
So it wasn't until after she died that she understood that she was getting and receiving information from very high beings as well.
yeah. Like maybe the Atari, the Pleiadian. Just it could be the alien.
Various. She was like an instrument,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
So she was able to be an instrument for these very high frequency beings who
Hmm,
would give her information.
interesting.
Healing information too. She said she
Oh,
received information about making making remedies and tonics and things like
mhm.
this.
Like using herbs and things. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Now, the
Mhm.
spirit teacher Teal Swan talks about a secret language she came up with when she was young. Was she channeling it from other dimensions just exactly like you did? Or was it just made up by her to keep parts of her journals secret? There's a lot of controversy about poor Teal Swan. And she's been, I think, treated unfairly. But yeah.
Um, well, that's interesting. She's saying it's totally different.
Okay. Is it real? Is she really channeling something?
Yes, but it's not from the sources that were,
Okay.
they're from different sources.
Okay. All right. Please expand on how you performed your healing miracles.
She said it has to do again with being able to channel the light and the fire.
Yeah.
Keeps going on about the fire.
Yeah. Well, there's the um, holy fire, violet flame.
But
There's
she keeps saying
there's different.
fire,
Yeah.
fire. The
Oh,
light is the fire, and that's what she was able to like. The healing came from that. It was coming out of her. She was just, when it would happen, she wouldn't be able to resist. It was like
yeah.
coming out.
Just to
Mhm.
come to it. Well, I mean, I've heard this holy fire
Yeah,
that is used in Reiki by a lot of practitioners. And there's the something holy fire, violent flame. Oh, I can't remember what the name of it is, but so yeah, I can get that.
hmm.
You wrote about the greening of the world through spirit and nature. How do you connect to spirit in modern times? And what did you mean by that anyway?
That God is in nature. God,
Yeah,
the splendor of God can be felt in nature.
yeah.
And that's one of the best places to feel the presence.
Okay.
So nature is a reflection. She's saying, like, she's giving me visuals. It's kind of like she's giving me visuals from up there to down here.
Oh,
So she's saying it's a physical manifestation reflection of God.
yeah.
And so
Okay. Well,
that's
everything is God. All
right.
is God. All is whole and part of God, including
But
us,
to
including
feel
trees.
God,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Be in the presence of that reflection,
Mm, okay.
because it's there everywhere in a way that's very palpable.
Okay. What did you mean by the greening of the world? Is that just about nature? The green.
Greening is the nature. It's a frequency in nature. The greening is a frequency in nature connected to um, the splendor of God.
Okay. What was
The
the
life force, she's saying, ooh, life force, the f- the light fire force of God.
hmm,
And she's like showing me like everything that grows, flowers, leaves, like
hmm,
it's literally this mystery unfolding
yeah.
of God's presence in nature. That's the greening.
Yeah. Beautiful. What was the religious and spiritual systems like while you were, I guess, what were the religious and spiritual systems like while you were alive? And how did you create your own path through it? Yeah. So religion,
Mm.
how did you
She's saying
circumnavigate those systems?
that they were very constricting,
Yeah.
and there was a change that happened that was critical at that time when she came in, which was she's saying the word like a renaissance.
Okay.
And that movement allowed for her to be her
Ah.
without being persecuted.
Yeah, because I was thinking, geez, I mean, I'm surprised with your visions and the pain and all that, that somebody didn't try you and execute you as a witch.
She said that it was this critical period that she came in where there was a change,
Yeah.
became more less constricted,
Yeah.
and they were more willing to look at other things and change things. It was a renaissance. She's saying the word
Yeah.
renaissance of
Okay.
that time,
Okay.
and that's what allowed her, because she said she is a rebel to the system,
Mm.
and she saw corruption,
Mm.
and she was there to help change that. And it came at a critical, she said it wouldn't have been able to happen if she came earlier.
Yeah. So you were a catalyst. And talk about divine timing, right?
Yes, total catalyst, but at the right time.
Yeah.
So she was able to do what she did without being persecuted and killed.
Oh. Now, did you
Mhm.
have any? Oh, go ahead.
No, she said something else and it just left me. Like it just, woo. Um, I'll ask her again.
Yeah, I'll come back probably. Did you have any specific spiritual experiences that greatly impacted your life while you were alive? I can imagine all of them.
Said right from the beginning.
Yeah.
She said that she kept them to herself
Mm.
for fear that she would not, that she would be not well received. So
Mm.
she kept her visions to herself, she said, until she was older.
Do you think your parents would not have understood?
She said her parents would understand a little bit,
Okay.
but it was her parents that gave her away when she was young.
Ugh, okay. Why?
So,
Just poverty? Couldn't afford to feed another man.
no, her parents were actually well off.
Okay.
And she's saying there were a lot of kids, a lot of children. And yeah, so she was, I think, the last kid. So
Okay.
she was the youngest, and she was the weakest and the sickest.
Yeah.
And And okay, so the number 10. So I think she was the 10th kid,
Mm.
and her parents were quite religious, so she was given away as a tithe.
Oh, oh wow, jeez.
Hmm.
Uh, was it were you given to an abbey, or because you were an abbess, apparently a nun?
Yes,
Okay,
she was given, but she wasn't married until she was 15, I think she's saying.
well, the
The
ripe
act-
old age of 15.
yeah, the actual marriage wasn't until 15. She's saying 15. So,
Yeah.
uh, until then, up until then, she was with a woman, an abbess or something, and
Okay.
she was schooled and trained, and she was being taught, like she said, avid reader. She was an avid reader, loved reading languages. She was taught languages, and she just spent that time inside
Like a sponge.
room with this woman,
Mm.
Abbey, and she was being schooled the whole time
Okay.
until she got married
Was
to
it
God.
was it difficult in your time to be accepted as a female composer?
She said yes. Again, it was critical timing because of that renaissance that happened.
Okay.
She
Okay.
was able to be received, and she said, but yes, there were difficulties being a female and doing anything like that.
Yeah.
So, but they knew that she was receiving this from God, like knew it was
Yeah.
godly. So there were concessions made for her.
Okay. But you would probably have had an easier life had you been a male, you think?
Yes,
Were there benefits to you being a female for all the work that you did?
absolutely. Because of the seclusion, because
Okay.
her being a female and being put away into this lifestyle allowed
Mhm.
for all of this to come through.
Well, you could have been a monk, secluded.
Wouldn't have been the same. She
Okay.
had to be a female.
Okay.
And she had to be a female because she said again, I'm a rebel and I came in to make changes for women.
Yeah. Good.
Yes.
Now you said you got married. Was it an arranged marriage, or was it the usual fall in love and get married, that sort of
Got
thing?
married to God,
Oh, okay, that's the marriage.
married to Christ.
Okay, good. All right. How important was composing music to you as opposed to all the other things that you did?
Okay, so she's saying the music was the best way for her to describe her visions.
Oh,
Her visions were cosmic and her music is cosmic.
mm,
And that was the best way to translate that.
yeah.
She's showing me 77.
Mm.
So I don't know if that means she created 77 um,
Piece
songs,
of work. Yeah.
yeah, but she's showing me 77. So and again, a holy number. And yeah, so she's saying everything she did, there was a reason. The numbers, the number of songs, psalms she created, it was all having to do with her visions of this immense heavenly cosmic experience.
Um, were you the incarnation of somebody like Jesus or some divine figure?
She said her incarnate, she was not. Oh, it's funny. She's very humble. Um,
Hmm?
she's very humble.
Mm,
Like that's the first thing she said to me. Like as soon as you said that, it was like she brought me back to humility, and she was like, "No, um, it's like always be humble. You must always be humble." Um, she was incarnated in the past and lived very similar lifetimes where she was very dedicated to God.
okay.
for those periods, very dedicated to bringing the soul, the cosmic soul, to Earth, and the understanding of the relationship between human manifestation and everything that is the great beyond. So her incarnations, she has had incarnations of great beings
Wow.
to do this.
So tell me something about your medical writing. You were a medical writer.
Yeah, she said again, these are the gifts that were given to her as an instrument. She was able to perceive sickness.
Yeah.
And so she was able to not just perceive it, but to know what was needed to cure. So that was a part of all the information that was being downloaded in her,
Wow, that's
that
awesome.
she had these abilities and senses. So, and she's, it was like she was very good at so many things. Like that ability translated into so many
So
things
many
that she
skills.
touched.
Gosh,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
All right.
And
So,
like like she was always receiving information from the divine for everything. It wasn't,
yeah.
she was not body embodied. She was
Okay.
soul.
Oh, okay. What
Mhm.
other things did you write other than medical topics?
She said she wrote poetry.
Okay.
Um, love poetry of her
Mhm.
experiences of God.
Oh,
Wrote
okay.
a lot of poetry, apparently. She's saying poetry. Um, Not just the medical stuff, but a lot of poetry, a lot of
Philosophy? Because it says you're a philosopher
yeah,
too.
yes, poetry, but the poetry is her philosophy, right?
Oh, okay.
She wrote poetry to describe the philosophy and the philosophical experiences that she was having and seeing. She said she had a hard time translating that all here in Word.
Yeah.
It was very limiting.
Yeah.
So, you know, it, more than anything, I think she was this cosmic philosopher more than anything.
Okay. So, what is one of your main philosophical ideas?
Well, the idea of everything about her incarnation was to bring the fire of God inside
Okay. Yeah.
human consciousness, inside the body,
Yeah.
to connect to your soul because your soul is connected and is one with God. So to bring that in, that was that was the main purpose of everything she was doing.
Okay. Um, they
And
said
also
polymath.
she's saying to resist the flesh was critical. So to live without the sin of the flesh was to her very important.
Okay.
She's saying that's why she loved virgins,
Okay.
because it was like it was a pure uh and a pure frequency connection.
Okay.
That's why she always, a part of her writings that she was trying to translate was to try to keep people from sin and trying to keep people from the corruption of frequency.
Okay.
And
Well,
so
do you think
being,
that sex is sinful?
she said, yes, it's fleshly. She said that she had a thing about this.
Okay.
She had a thing about this where,
I can recommend a therapist. I'm kidding. Easy.
bar marriage, right? She's saying if it's holy and it's sacred,
Oh, yeah. Right.
that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
But if it's fleshly,
Yeah.
then it corrupts. So she was
What do you mean?
very
It's
clear.
like being lewd and that kind of stuff, prostitution. Are you talking about those kinds of things?
Feeding the
Pedophilia.
flesh, feeding the flesh. She's feeding the flesh in any way. So
Okay.
feed the flesh because you like sex. If you feed the flesh because you like substances to feed the flesh, all these things separate you
Okay.
from
Oh,
that divine.
from God. Okay. Now they say you were a polymath. I didn't know what that was, so I just looked it up. A polymath is an individual whose knowledge spans a substantial number of subjects, known to draw on complex bodies of knowledge to solve specific problems. And that seems to be true, right?
Yes, she was she was extremely rare for her time.
Yeah.
Her capacity to understand many things and perfect them and bring them to the understanding of people was extremely rare for that time period, especially because she mastered so many things.
Yeah.
So that was something that was taken up later, but she was critical in actually changing so much, way more than we realize.
Mm. I'm gonna
Way
read
more
on
than we
you.
realize. Yeah.
All right, let's just do a couple more questions. First of all, what do you have to say when I say that mathematics is the language of the universe? Do you believe that to be true? And were you
Says yes.
mathematician as well? Did you tinker in math at all?
Yes. Yes. She says absolutely true. Uh, Again, she's showing me the fire in light, in frequency, in sound, and then she's showing me let numbers.
Okay. Yeah, numbers have their
She
own
understood
frequency.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is out there, but she loved studying the stars, the cosmos. She
Oh,
was studying um, ancient Greek uh, information.
oh, that's
Yeah, and also Middle Eastern
okay.
information. Cosmic, like so. Apparently, people from that time and before that, from the Middle East, who were astronomers
Hmm,
and mystics. Yes, she studied some of this.
okay.
Loved it.
So you love to dabble in math, geometry,
No, she's saying math. The math that she's showing me has to do with the mysteries of the cosmos.
okay, I got you.
God.
Energy frequencies,
Yes,
things like that. Okay.
yes, it was all like divine math. Not
Okay.
geometry and stuff like that.
Is that something you take after calculus 2? Because I didn't get to that level. Yeah, okay, so this is probably before we close, probably need to end up on this one because we've talked about the sins of the flesh. You were apparently the first woman who described in written words the female orgasm. While you were writing about that topic, were you fearing a possible negative reaction from your superiors and the Catholic world in general?
Absolutely,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
tell me why you wrote about that.
She said it was a very
Mhm.
risky thing to do, but this was part of why she had to come in as a female and why she had to change the paradigm to help women and to remove the stigmatization and demonization of women.
Okay.
So that was part of one of the things that she had to do to bring light to this and make it holy.
Yeah, and perhaps not giving all the power to the male in a sexual
Exactly.
relationship.
She's saying make it sacred. One word.
Okay, yeah, I know. You
Make
want
it
to hear that. Yeah, we'll make it sacred.
so she needed to push the envelope
Yeah,
and to bring this to light in a way that would make women be seen and known in a different way and not as a diminutive so that they could be
yeah.
sacred, sacredly
Okay.
understood.
Yeah, empowering women.
Hmm. Yep,
That's
absolutely.
wonderful. Okay, if you don't mind, we're going to ask you to do a part 2 down the line, but I want to give Lauda a little break because she's had a hard year. So we'll keep it short. Okay, Lauda, how can people get in touch with you?
Okay, just want to thank Hildegard. So,
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry. I was thanking you in my mind, I promise.
okay. Oh, yes. So my website is www.sovereignki.com. And my emails are on my website, and my
Yeah.
YouTube is Sovereign Key. Everything's Sovereign Key. So, you can find me like that, or just put in Lauda Leon, Laudaleon.
Yeah, and you guys, I'm sure Paula, you hear me? Well, when she puts this YouTube up, she'll put all that in the description box. Anyway, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Lauda. Thank you, Hildegard. Appreciate all three of you. I appreciate all of you out there. Be sure that you subscribe to this channel and to the Atlantis Scalar channel, please, and hit the notification bell because you don't want to miss part 2 for one. All right, love you all.
She just has one message.
Yes.
Just one message. She just said one message. She's saying that she wants to leave everybody knowing that they're able to receive so much
Mm,
divine um, help
yeah.
to this day when connecting to her music.
Oh,
So
okay.
to
Well,
this
I'm gonna
day, she says
agree with that. Yeah.
that it's still able to connect to higher levels and awareness and information of the divine. So
That is fascinating. And they said something about your sacred monophony. Monophony. I don't know how you pronounce it. But yeah, we'll look that up. Cool.
there you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Rest.
you.
You rest. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.